succulent growers, it's Lynn here, and in today's video I've got something a little bit beastie to share with you. Now this is my big tall Brasilia Puncher brasiliensis, about 6 feet high. I have it overwintering on my staircase because it's too tall to put into the polytunnel for winter, and I have this plant outside in the yard in the spring and summer and take it indoors for the winter time. Now, I always check my cacti succulents during the winter, both inside the polytunnel and the ones in the house, for signs of pests and things like that. As soon as I see any, I treat it straight away. And obviously, this morning I woke up, was checking the plants as normal in the house, and I found my big Brasilia Puncher with mealybugs. And just look at that, disgusting, and signs there as well. And this has happened quite quick because, as I say, I do check every week. And what I normally do, you see, in the spring and the summer months, I use horticultural neem oil and all the cacti and succulents. I use it about once every 3 weeks. And that's really good at preventing insect pests, especially mealybugs and spider mites and the like. But obviously in the winter, I don't tend to use it because I prefer to keep all the cacti and succulents dry, including their foliage. And they're going through a bit of a dormancy. I find pests slow down anyway at that time of year. So this is a result of not using the neem oil for quite a few months. I think the last time I gave this plant a good spray with neem oil was probably the September time. And this is why, you know, if when you stop using it, they do come back. Horticultural oil is not a systemic, so it's something you do have to keep using, but it's pretty safe. And I always find that the plants react very well to it as well. But obviously, what do I do when I don't like to use the neem oil in the winter time and I see bugs on my plants? Well, then I go and use rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and I will then use that with a little brush. I would put some into this container and then I'll apply it directly onto the mealybugs. Now, rubbing alcohol isn't a systemic, it's not even an insecticide as such, so you do have to keep using it all the time. And obviously the rubbing alcohol will kill the insects on contact, which is great, but you're never going to get rid of the tiny little nests and things that you can't see. And with mealybug, for example, it would hide in between little areoles like this, and it's impossible to treat it all. So in the winter time, I'm going to be having to just do this very, very regularly and treat as many mealybugs as I can see to keep it under control until the springtime, when this plant goes back out into the yard again, and then I can start using the neem oil again, and it will prevent them and get rid of any that's still on there. So as I say, you're never going to, people often say to me, how can I get rid of mealybugs completely? Well, I think when you have a lot of cacti and you grow cacti, it's more a case of keeping them under control, because you can get rid of them all, but they seem to just appear out of thin air. How it's got onto this cactus, when I brought it in to overwinter in the November time, it was completely bug free because I check all the plants when I bring them in. So obviously I think mealybugs do come from thin air. But the best thing to do is, as soon as you see them, treat them right away. And in this case, as I mentioned, rubbing alcohol, 99%. You can dilute it a bit if you're using it on more delicate plants and also on some of the succulents. Works very well. But with cactus, like this big Basilio, for example, it's fine to use neat. I pour a little bit in here with a big long handle brush. You want to use a long handle brush with these type of cacti because obviously if I used a small brush, I'd get pricked in every place imaginable. So a long handled little brush, this little makeup brush here, works well. And then you can just dab in all the places that you can't normally reach. Now, this is going to take me a long time to be going through all of this plant, removing as much as I can see. So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to be doing. And hopefully it will help you if you get mealybug on your cacti in the winter time and you don't necessarily want to be spraying it with lots of wet bug sprays and all the other type of things like the neem oil. Just keep it under control until the spring, when I can start using the neem oil again. And the good thing is about the rubbing alcohol that when you put it onto a pest, so just show you here, it melts the waxy coating, so it turns them pink. Disgusting, I know, but that's it melting the waxy coating away, so it kills them on contact, and it's very effective like that. And you want to make sure you get in all between the joins. As I say, with a puncher family, the prickly pear family, such as this Brasilia puncher, they are mealybug magnets anyway. So you always have to keep on top of them. And that's what I recommend doing, because I've had a few people say to me they've had mealybugs on their cacti and they don't want to be spraying them with neem oil and things like that in the winter, purely because they want to keep the plants dry. And this is what I recommend doing to keep mealybugs under control until the springtime again. And I always find the rubbing alcohol is very effective as well at getting rid of pests. But as I say, I always like to spray with neem oil afterwards to prevent them coming back again. But I won't be doing this on this plant until the spring. Terrible, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed this little beastie video. And if you're not familiar with mealybugs, now you know what they look like. So do keep an eye out on your plants in the winter time, because pests do have a habit of not going away in the winter time. And when you have cacti in the house, such as this one here, the warm temperatures, and especially under the grow lights, I find it seems to attract pests, because the high light levels and the warmth of your house will make them breed far quicker than it probably normally would if they were overwintering in a cool and fairly dull environment. And I made a video on, do grow lights encourage pests on your plants? So do check that video out if you haven't seen it, and I'll link the video up above and down below. And also check out the video I've made on how to use neem oil on cacti and succulents as a pest prevention and treatment, because it's very effective. And it's just that I don't want to be using it on this cactus at this time of year, because I want to keep its foliage dry. But this will work until the springtime. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a like, and also don't forget to click the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And for lots more growing tips on how you can care for and grow cacti and succulents, then do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye. Yuck, mealybugs.